And this is a picture of Sammy and his best man to be whenever he married Pearl. And this guy was called Walter Cleland.
That's right.
And what was your title, Sammy, again? You were an electrical
engineer.
Right. And what was Walter's title?
He was a junior engineer.
He was a junior engineer.
He would have been like a fitter.
Right. And many years after that, in 2015, you both met up again, and here are the two guys there, last of the summer wine.
We have been friends
for
1950.
1950.
Up to the present day.
So we're talking 68 years.
And that was our first ship.
Oh yes, good. And this was the first ship that
was our first ship.
Sammy and Walter served on.
And it's the British Diligence.
And I'm just going to home in the name there, the British Diligence. Right. Oh, it's gone fuzzy, but never mind.
That's all right.
The British Diligence. And what kind of stuff?
It was a tanker. We carried crude oil.
Crude oil. So you would have had to...
we went to Bahrain.
Right.
For our first trip.
And picked up the oil. And then
we took it to different places, you know. We went to maybe around Europe a bit.
Oh, right.
But then when I joined my second ship, it was a lovely new ship called the British Builder.
Right.
It was that first trip that we were at sea together.
Yes.
It lasted 14 months.
So you didn't see home for 14 months?
Yes. We run into the problem, we run into the Middle East sort of time. We couldn't get through the Suez Canal, and we were stuck in Singapore for 6 weeks. And then we eventually got a cargo, and we thought to ourselves, oh, well, we'll come back home again.
Yes.
But instead of going back home again, they sent us to Australia.
So you were all over the shop?
Oh, yes. I think I was in every country in the world.
Right, sit yourself down there. So would you would have had a passport then, wouldn't you?
Oh yes,
right.
I still have them.
So you would have had shore leave as well. So
well, in tankers, shore leave wasn't a long time. Because you see, that you went to a port and they discharged your cargo.
In a matter of hours.
If it was a full cargo, like we carried maybe, I think that first ship was carried about 16,000 tons.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
But sometimes you'd have went to a place, you'd have got it discharged in 24 hours.
And that was you away.
And sometimes you got it in 48 hours. But now there's places we did get ashore, like we did. We were in Mombasa one time. You remember the Mau Mau?
Yes, that's Kenya.
The terrorist organisation then.
Yes.
Was in Kenya.
They wouldn't have let you off the boat there.
If you were ashore, you were advised to go in groups.
Yes.
Don't go on your own. But most of us never bothered, you know.
I know. Just you stayed on board.
And then we went to Rotterdam. And,
yes.
And we're Australia. I think we were around every coast, right round the coast.
Right.
We went across the Barrier Reef.
Right. You saw the sunsets and the sunrises.
Yes. And then we went to New Zealand.
And
there's the North
Island and the South Island, that's right.
We went to Wellington and Christchurch and stuff like that.
So your knowledge of geography was pretty good then.
A very good story. I came out of that.
Yes.
New Zealand.
Yes.
Trip.
Yes.
We had got a cargo to go to New Zealand and we went through the Panama Canal.
Right.
And then when we got through the Panama Canal, we were heading down the Pacific Ocean, and we got a message from headquarters to call it Pitcairn Island.
I've heard of it.
Yes, well now, Pitcairn Island was, you remember the story of the mutiny on the Bounty?
Correct. The breadfruit.
So we had to pick up a government official there.
Yes.
And so when we got to Pitcairn Island, it meant then that we had the anchor in the bay, because there's no jetties or
And
nothing.
take a rowboat in. Right.
So what happened was the two longboats came out
Yes.
with all the young men,
Yes.
and they brought this government official with them.
Yes.
Now those young men were all descendants of the mutineers.
Right.
I could say that I met the great-grandchildren of Fletcher
Fletcher
Christian
Christian.
and the Adams family.
That's something.
So,
Wow.
and so then by talking to them, we found out that they were Seventh-day Adventists.
Right.
That was their religion.
Yes. Yes.
And then they told us that the Bible of the Bounty was still there. It was in the church that they had, and we could see their church.
Right. Right.
And
Wow.
they said that they opened that Bible every day at a passage of God's Word.
Yes.
And that was the Bible of the Bounty.
Wow. And it still remained.
Still there.
And it's possibly still there
Now,
now.
when I was there in 1950s, the population of Pitcairn would have been about 149. And there was an old lady on it who was in her 90s,
Yes.
and she'd been awarded the MBE from the Queen.
Right.
And so anyhow, when we had to move on then, these men in the boats, they got up, and as we pulled away, they started to sing a good old hymn in the sweet by and by. And you could have heard it
Over the waves.
over the waves, over the water, and the quietness and stillness.
Uh-huh.
You could have heard it, you know.
So you never made landfall there. You remained on the boat.
Oh, but you couldn't. Nobody go ashore there.
You couldn't get ashore.
They came out.
They came out.
And they brought their wee wares and tears with them,
Aye.
stuff like that, you know.
The soldier trinkets and all the rest of it. My goodness
There were a lot
gracious.
of carvings and so
Yes,
forth.
yes,
I
yes,
brought
yes.
a lot of them. They've all been passed around the family.
The family?
Don't know where half of them is, you know.
I love that. I love that one. I love that one. So, but sure, that's what it's all about. That's brilliant. And how many guys would have been shipmates to you on the first boat?
The engineering staff would have been the chief engineer, the second engineer, and the chief was a Scotsman. The second engineer was a fella from Larne,
Right.
and then the third engineer was English, and then there was a fourth engineer. He was from Newcastle,
Yes.
and then there was myself, and then there was about 3 junior engineers.
Yes.
You know,
So they're all told on this 16,000. Well, how many tons was it? Would it have been
16,000.
16,000 ton boat? There would have been maybe 20 of a crew.
Well, that was us. That was the engineering side.
Yes.
Then on the deck side, there would have been the captain, the chief officer, and the second mate,
Uh-huh.
and the third mate,
Yes.
and the fourth mate, and a couple of apprentices,
Right.
deck apprentices.
Uh-huh.
So, and then you see you had a crew of engine room staff. Then after that I sailed with Indian crew, and they were Hindus, and we used to change crews with them in Bombay,
Right.
take them to Bombay and change the crew,
Right.
you know.
So all told on one of those boats in those days, maybe 30?
Oh, more.
More?
Oh, aye.
More?
Like
My
counting
goodness.
the decks,
Aye.
just the deck hands,
Right.
and the engineering hands.
Uh-huh.
There could have been about maybe 20 of them overall.
So you were seeing the world here.
Oh,
I mean, a young fella from Belfast, and you're seeing all these different ports and countries, and you're seeing all these different colours of people
Oh, yeah.
and languages.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious, it's brilliant stuff. And So you served in the Merchant Navy for 5 years?
6 or more. Just
6 or
over
more,
6.
and went round the world, Panama Canal, Suez Canal, Southeast Asia, and all the rest of it. Now,
I was in Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia. Those were all oil producing.
of course they were.
And we had to go there for cargoes.
And you're telling me that whenever you picked up a cargo, it wasn't necessarily for a UK port. It could have been for a mainland European port.
We delivered mostly for Australia, New Zealand, India.
Yes.
We went to Bombay and we went to Delhi and
Right.
went to Pakistan.
You were all over the shop.
Oh, yes,
And,
yes.
you know, what about seasickness and stuff?
Never worried me.
Never bothered.
Never had that.
What about storms?
Yes, and plenty of them.
Well, where was... Well,
Down the Bay of Biscay was a very rough passage.
that's off Spain.
That was going down from leaving England.
Aye.
Down the Bay of
It
Biscay.
was bad.
But then you could have, then when you went into the Mediterranean, then it calmed down.
It was nice.
You know.
That was nice.
But if you were out going round the Cape of Good Hope,
That was rough.
they were rough. The waves would have come 40 and 50 feet high.
Did you ever fear for your life?
No, never.
Oh, man of steel here.
Too bad.
I would have been petrified. My goodness. Right. Well, we've got you 5 or 6 years on the boats. So you were on the boats from 1950 through to about 1956 or 57 maybe?
57.
Were you married at that stage?
I got, after my first trip, I came home after that 14 months.
So this would have been 1952.
Yes. And I thought, and the day I arrived back in England was the 6th of February, 1952.
Yes.
The day the King George VI died.
Right.
So anyhow, I came home. I didn't know why Pearl would be there or not because it was away so long.
Well, I'm just thinking that.
Well, she was
she
there,
must have been a very patient lady.
Oh, she was
and she was a good looking girl, so she could have had her pick anybody.
This is it.
You think this man's not going to come home for me?
My mother and all, they lived in the same street and they looked after each other.
Yes,
You know.
yes.
But anyway, I came home in 1952 and got married in the Drew Memorial Church on the Grosvenor Road.
Is it still there?
No, it's not there anymore.
It's down. It's down. It's gone.
But anyhow,
I'm walking over to get another shot of you and Pearl.
all right. That's our wedding photograph up at the top yonder.
Right. So what about this one down here?
That one was taken maybe in Samuel's house.
And what kind of date would that have been?
Oh, I don't know. That was.
About 10 years ago?
Oh, it would be more.
There'd be more. And the wedding photograph is right up at the top.
That's it.
Right? And it says, Mum and Dad with love on your 60th wedding anniversary. Wasn't that nice? And there you are, grinning like a Cheshire cat, boy. And this was in the Drew Memorial.
Yes.
Presbyterian Church on the Grosvenor Road.
The Grosvenor Road.
Right?
And the minister on to the right, that's Charlie Sanson, they called him.
Right.
He was the rector.
And right, you got married there. What happened after that? Were you did you get anything like a honeymoon?
Yes, we went on honeymoon. Pearl's father was a station foreman on the Great Northern Railway.
Yes.
Jimmy Bradshaw.
Right.
And we had our reception in the Imperial Hotel in Donaghadee place, there were Marks and Spencers and all this.
Right.
There was a hotel there.
Right, okay.
Imperial Hotel.
Right.
And we had to get the 4:45 train, the Enterprise.
Right.
And we went to Dublin.
You went to Dublin for your honeymoon?
And we were there for a week. And we came back on and my cousin was getting married in the same church.
Right.
So we went to that wedding as well.
As well. Whenever you came back up from Dublin.
Yes, yes.
And then in a matter of days, weeks, you had to go and get your ship again.
Oh yes. But anyway then we went to live with Per's sister
Right.
for a few weeks.
Right.
Because there's no room in our house and there's no room in her house. So we went to Per's sister.
So you were squeezed in.
Over in the Cooning Way on the Craigie.
Right.
And then I got word then to go back to sea again.
Right.
And I joined another new ship. And we were only away for about maybe 6 months. And then we came back to Falmouth again. Came into Swansea.
Yes.
And then the ship had to go to Falmouth like a service, like a cars or no.
Yes.
And all they had to be all checked again.
You see, whenever you were joining different ships, you were walking in, and it would be a completely different crew, wouldn't it?
Yes, a different captain.
Did Walter stick with you, or did he go off and find his own way? You know, did he go on to other ships?
Walter.
Yes,
he did.
So after the first ship, you were really parted.
We must die.
So that was. So
we met him one time. A very coincidence. We met him when we came into Swansea.
Yes.
And we found out that Walter was with another company.
Yes.
And he was in Swansea at the same time.
So you met up.
So we were able to go and visit.
Ah, brilliant.
You know.
Brilliant. That would have been nice.
It was good.
And compare notes.
Oh, I know.
Have you been to so and so?
Oh,
my. Was he married then? Or did he get married?
No, he wasn't married that time. He had a girlfriend when we went to see it first.
But she maybe didn't stick it.
She didn't wait that.
No, she couldn't wait.
She couldn't wait that long.
But your Pearl waited for you, boy. You're lucky boy, lucky boy. Anyway, right.
When we joined that new ship, and then we came back in for a check-up.
Yes. Refurb or MOT.
I was married. We were married at the time. So it meant then that any waves
Yes.
could have come over.
Yes.
And Pearl had never been out of Belfast in her life.
Right.
But her uncle Walter worked for the headline in Belfast.
Right.
And he got her organised and put her on the housing boat and told them to look after her. And she made her way to Swansea.
Right.
And she met the chief engineer's wife, the second engineer's wife, and third. There was quite a few wives on the engineering side.
Yes.
The captain and all this, they
Yes,
were all
yes,
on
yes.
the other end.
Yes.
But she came anyway, and it was an experience getting her on board, for we were getting through the locks in
Yes.
Swansea.
Yes.
And Per could never look down. She was always... There was that wee gap between the side
Yes, I
and
know.
the boat.
I know that.
And the chief engineer was a fella called Forbes. He was a Scotchman.
Yes.
And he was saying, "Come on, Per, come on." And she wasn't going to move.
She's frightened.
So then they had to get a couple on one on each side where they got her on board. And so then we discharged the cargo and we made our way round to Falmouth. And we were 6 weeks in Falmouth, checking everything.
Yes.
So the women became friendly with one another.
Of course they did.
And so then we eventually got a cargo of oil, and we took it to Copenhagen.
Right. But the women weren't on board for that.
They were able to come with us.
So there was enough room on board to accommodate them.
I had my own cabin and my own son suite and all that sort of thing.
Oh, right.
So
How did she,
they were able to come.
how did she adapt to?
It was a bit of a job getting her to adapt, especially when we were going round to Copenhagen and the cargo. The boat was.
Yes, a wee bit. We talked about it earlier. You never got seasick,
No,
but
no.
Did she?
I think she stayed mostly in the bunk. But we got into Copenhagen and we had a night out,
Yes.
and then we went to another wee port, Fredericia, and we went to a different couple of places, and she was able to come with us.
Yes.
And we were 9 weeks together.
Right. That was great.
And then she eventually then, all the wives had to go
Back home.
home.
Did she fly home then, or?
No, they went in the house and boat.
Right. Okay.
And then this is when Samuel appeared.
So she was pregnant then.
Yes.
Right.
There was about 3 or 4 wives on the boats, and every one of us having wee babies when they went home.
Well, that was good. That was great.
So-
That was great. So you travelled the world on these boats for those 6 years and saw an awful lot of life. And there were long periods whenever you were away from Pearl. And that must have been quite tough for sailors.
Because the only communication you had
Yes,
was by writing letters.
And how long would it take a letter to get home?
Well, what happened was, you see, whatever the next port you were going to,
Yes,
then all your letters was sent to there.
yes,
And when you arrived there, then the mail came aboard and you got that. And if you had any mail ready, then you give it to them and they got it back home again.
So we're talking about, what, 3 weeks to get a letter home, at least?
There was no phones then.
No phones or internet or anything like this.
No.
So that was tough. That was tough. But that was softened a bit because she was pregnant with Samuel and all the excitement around that.
Yes.
And that's brilliant, right?
Well, then what happened was we were on our way to Hamburg.
Right,
And we were sailing up the, what do you call it? I had a cousin who was a flight sergeant called Sammy McConnell, and he was in Ceylon. And when we were passing by Ceylon, I got a message to say that Samuel had been born
right,
on this, the 4th of June,
yes,
1953. And it was my cousin who relayed the message.
yes.
Mother and son doing well.
So you were happy.
So we were happy.
Very
We got
good.
into Hamburg and as the old saying was, we spliced the main brace.
Right, okay, right.
So,
Right. So we're coming to the end of your time on the boats. You decided to leave the Merchant Navy in what, 1956?
yeah.
Possibly because you wanted to be with Pearl and
Samuel was beginning to get up a wee bit.
yes. So you didn't want to miss his childhood.
So what happened was we were arriving in Dublin with a cargo of oil.
Right.
And it was a weekend. And I said to the chief, I says, I think I'll go on up home. I'd get the train up for the weekend.
Yes.
Away you go, he says.
Mm.
So I made my way home. And they didn't know I was coming.
Oh wow.
Because, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I went in, got the train up and what have you. And I met Pearl's father in the railway.
Mm-hmm.
And we marched up the Grosvenor Road together. And then when we got up there, then I think Pearl was down at my mother's house. And then there was old, now Trevor was only, or Sammy was only a wean.
Yes.
So what I done then was I stayed the one night
Yes.
at home.
Yes.
And then we got the train, Pearl and me and Samuel. And we took the train down to Dublin
Yes.
and we went on board. And we stayed there for a couple of days.
Right.
And Samuel, he was taken by the hand because he was...
I know, the blue-eyed boy
And it was an Indian crew and they
thought he was magic.
things, you know.
Right, okay.
So we eventually ended up anyway that I put her back on the train and Samuel and away they went home.
Right.
And I think then after that trip was finished, I came home and she had a cousin worked in the power station. And he says to me, I could maybe
Get your
get
position.
you a job here.
Yes,
And I says, well, that'd be great, you know.
because you were ready to come home,
Oh,
really.
yes, oh, aye.
So So, hello, the power station now. Explain what you're talking about, the power station here.
Yes.
Where would it have been, or... I'm trying to find the right page here. Worked in Power Station West until retirement.
That's right.
So where was this power station West?
It's down at the Pollock Dock. There's two power stations in Belfast at that time.
Right.
There was the East and the West.
I know Pollock Dock, I've been there.
Well, we were on that side.
Right.
The East power station was on the Horn and Wolf side.
Right.
You know.
So was it would have been all, was it coal fired?
It was.
Right.
And it was only being built.
Right.
It was only half of it built.
Right.
When I arrived.
Right.
And it was only generating about 60 megawatts.
Right.
230 megawatt turbines. And they were still building the new part.
Yes, yes.
So they were going to build 3 more generators, all 60 megawatts each.
Right.
Which give us capacity of 240 megawatts.
Which would have done for the whole of Belfast.
Just the whole of Northern Ireland.
Or the whole of Northern Ireland, right. And it says there in the note, it says, so this was 1956 that you started in the Power Station West at Pollock Dock. And you worked there from 1956 through to...
91.
91, so that was...
36 years.
36 years. And you'd already done 6 years on the boats.
That's right.
So that was another, you're up to about 42, and you'd done your apprentice.
And I'm
for
27 years retired.
Right, okay. Right. This has been the story of Samuel Sedgewick, and we've got him over all the years from 1927 right through to 1956, whenever you left the Merchant Navy and you worked at Power Station West down at Pollock Dock, and you were there for how many years again?
35.
35 years, my goodness.
Retired in 1991.
Retired in 1991. And here you are with your brother. Is that your brother above you?
That's my brother living
Your brother Jim, and there's Trevor, your son, your younger son, and there's Samuel on the left-hand side. And then each of them has got family as well. So this is and you've in your book here you've got all the information about the rest of the family, and you've even got a bit of a family tree stretching back to the 1843s. And one thing that's interesting here, Samuel, is the fact that your name changed. You added in an E.
An E turned over.
So it was the original spelling of Sedgewick, and here we have it, in 1868 was Sedgewick with no E, and then running on down in years to come we have got the other spelling of Sedgewick, which I'm trying to find.
It'll be over there.
It'll be over where we'll get it.
There's the Robert Sedgwick's there, cathedral and all that. Where do I say now?
But the E was added anyway.
The E was added in 19...
Aye, there's the E added in... The E was added in what? 19...
Here's the Sedgwick without the E.
The Sedgwick without the E.
Right up to 1843, 1867.
Yes.
And then my dad, 1900.
So he still had the spelling
yes.
without the E.
Even my birth certificate that I have
is without the E. And
we don't know how. I don't know how to get in.
What is it spelt? Could I ask you this? What is it spelt on your passport then? Is it got an E or not an E? Not too sure.
My new passports would have been the E was in it.
1927, you've got an E in
Yes,
here.
yes.
Anyway, and this has been the story of Samuel, and maybe on another occasion I will come back and test his knowledge in the sort of second part of his life, and he's still going strong here. And thank you very much, Trevor. I'm calling you Trevor. Thank you very much, Samuel, for opening up about your fascinating journey through life, and might you have plenty more Christmases to come along with your great grandchildren. Thank you very much. Super duper.
You're more than welcome, Tom.
Thank you.